professional MMA bout. Paul Cunningham is going to be tough to beat. Jakobi was very unfit up against Adam Speechley, lost there. This is a different fighter stepping into the cage tonight. Paul Cunningham comes with pedigree, 8 victories in his amateur run. Looking ready for the bout.
That is a very strong fighter. He was a bit unfit this last fight against Adam, lost by triangle second round, but as you can see straight away, I can see his best position, ground and pound. Ryan aside his coach in the corner there, just telling him what to do.
And you can imagine Ryan would have put him on quite a stiff training regime after that last bout. Paul Cunningham, a big hitter. He hasn't known defeat yet in the cage as an amateur.
You can see him setting up for an arm bars, always climbing up the guard. You can see how high his feet are, waiting to set for a triangular arm bar.
Great to see all of our professionals exhibiting an incredible array of skills.
Now, very interesting to see how Paul handles Dennis. Dennis is no Mickey Mouse guy. He's a very strong guy. Triangle, marking, knockdown. Now you can see Paul going for it.
He seems to have quite a few tricks in his bag as well.
Very accomplished jiu-jitsu guy. Very, very good at his jiu-jitsu. New to the pro ranks, but you can see setting up a triangle on armbar right now. He might go into an armbar.
A bit of a deadlock there. Both of these fighters want to end this quickly.
Now this is how Paul finished his last fight against Victor Timber at the Invasion event. Exact same position, so Dennis has to be careful. You see him trying to lock the foot under his knee there. He's trying to lock the foot for the triangle.
Slowly working the angle.
Going for the armbar now. Changing over.
Oh, Dallas has got an opportunity now. Great to see 2 accomplished fighters.
Oh, straight away maybe into a triangle again. Dallas has to be careful here. As you can see, Paul slaps on a submission from nowhere. You can see as you come into his guard, trying to ground and pound, he slaps one on. He might go for an armbar. Oh, and he's got the armbar.
Oh, beautiful angle there.
The only way Dallas can get out of this is probably through his strength. He can maybe lift him up now, which isn't great, but
he's got the strength, got that perfect point of leverage. This is what we want to see in MMA, 2 beautifully matched fighters. These guys matching each other pound for pound. You've got the strength, you've got the technique.
Now Dallas and Paul, as you can see, they're pretty experienced on the ground. Paul going straight over for the takedown. His jiu-jitsu is his bread and butter.
Really seems to protect that head. Great defensive positioning. Happy to take a pounding. Not much power being able to be generated by Dallas Jakobi.
Paul working consistent in his takedowns.
No, he's come out with a plan today.
Dallas in the guillotine. You can't get it from there. Paul blocking his hip out. Arm over the shoulder. Oh, Dallas takes him down.
A lot of strength there. Getting an angle on the short rib. Both of these fighters having to calm down. Came out like bulls in a china shop. Now having to measure their performance.
Now these guys know that they could go for about 3 rounds, so they're not just gassing themselves out first round. Like you see them much younger pro guys do. They get stuck in the knee, gas out quickly. These guys pace themselves.
2 big guys, and I think both of them would give it a chance for the knockout. Right, back into the stand-up. Chance to catch their breath. Dallas Jakobi looking like a much more complete fighter to his last outing. Beautiful side kick.
Yeah, Paul has to work on his stand-up a little bit more. It's great finishing fights of jiu-jitsu, but every fight starts standing up. So
we've seen it far too often, especially in the middleweights and the light heavyweights. It ends in the stand-up. These guys pack a big punch.
Dallas shouldn't be leaning to the back there. It's not allowed.
I think the word coming into the corner is simply aware of what's going on.
Now Paul needs to move from this position.
And Dallas Jakobi with the opportunity. Well, Paul Cunningham get very comfortable on the ground and again into that defensive position.
Both guys measuring each other up before, not just going into throwing punches without what they're doing. Paul straight away for a submission again.
And then again, that counter-attacking ability that you spoke about. And he's a tall fighter, can get a lot of reach there, a lot of leverage.
Dallas is starting to hit very hard now.
You can hear, even though they are close range punches, that's a bit of a pile driver there. those lats. The chest is really working now. He's not going to have to go to gym for a couple of days. He's getting his workout with Paul Cunningham. And Paul is almost too comfortable on the ground, lacking a bit of that killer instinct that we've seen in previous bouts, or maybe he's just had an easy run. Whatever the case, both of them are going to have to chew the breeze with their corners for a second. I'm sure lots of advice for both fighters. No one really edging ahead at this stage. Two very evenly matched fighters.
Well, you can know the head there, Graham. Paul, a very good jiu-jitsu guy, good in amateurs, but he wasn't getting punched in the face on the ground. Now it's a totally different story. Most jiu-jitsu guys sometimes do get a bit lazy on the ground. They're lazy because of the jiu-jitsu, because you don't punch. But yeah, that seems like Paul seems to be stuck into the jiu-jitsu mode.
He seems to be playing to his strengths now. And again, giving a little bit of room there. We've seen how much power Dallas Jakobi can generate in that ground and pound.
Paul really likes to set up triangles from this position. You see him straight away there, pushing the arm back, going for the triangle.
And not exactly hiding his intent either.
And he's got it. He needs to get that foot underneath the knee. As you can see, working it slowly, inch by inch. Oh, it's looking tight. It's looking tight. He needs to get the arm across Dallas's neck.
Dallas doesn't seem too perturbed.
Dallas is very strong. As you can see, just snapping down somebody's head.
And again, we've seen a lot of opponents fall from becoming complacent in that ground and pound position with Paul Cunningham. Again, those legs working brilliantly in Paul Cunningham's favour.
Paul, proper Jiu-Jitsu fans going very patient, like a chess match, just waiting for the little mistake. That's all you need for a submission.
And yeah, the corner like what he's doing as well.
We'll go for an arm bar.
And so far, an incredibly powerful right hand keeping Dallas Jakobi, I think, ahead in this bout. And it's still very close, too close to call. Our Fight Force Redemption providing some brilliant matchups.
Now, Dallas looks too strong. His ground and pound just seems to nullify Paul's jiu-jitsu.
And again, the spectators baying for a little blood now. And I think Dallas Jakobi would do well to pound in with some big hitting punches. Paul Cunningham not shy to throw in an uppercut.
Or maybe going for a hip toss.
Oh, and a bit of a backfire there.
Dallas is doing much better than his last fight. His fitness, he's worked on it a hell of a lot compared to last. Oh, great elbow.
Well, and he's only going to grow in confidence. Paul Cunningham giving him too much time and too much freedom on the ground. And Dallas happy to let this fight evolve. Catch his breath a little bit. These are big guys using a huge amount of energy, throwing each other around. A telegraph kick.
Well, looking more tired out to it, so is Dallas, but the other guys are giving the crowd up the both.
I think Dallas Jakobi has worked on his mental game as well. Opened himself up there for a little bop on the nose. Not really following through a great left. And even his lazy punches seem to have a huge amount of power.
That is a very strong man.
He just needs to drop his weight onto that elbow and see that work effectively.
Really using his baseball damage. You can see he's pushing down into Paul. Paul can't answer it, and Paul's a very good grounder.
Well, Mosaic, ooh, we're now entering very dangerous territory.
Paul, cage walking to get better position, moving his head away from the cage. But Dallas continuing pounding. Not all of them are landing, he's actually hitting him on the shoulder.
And again, like we were saying in the beginning of the bout, Paul Cunningham able to almost take his head out of the equation, protect himself so effectively on the ground, which almost invites fighters into that position.
He sets up his submissions very well, Graham. But yeah, you're getting punched to the face. You've got to get out of there. Otherwise, the ref can't stop the fight. He might go into
Yeah, and your reputation as a fighter will only take you so far. The ref's got to call it as he sees it. And we know in MMA, especially with our professional martial artists, huge amounts of power, but huge amounts of control. And safety comes first. Oh, a great little up kick coming from the ground. That elbow. One has to think that that is going to be the death of Paul Cunningham.
Yeah, Paul needs to start answering soon on the ground. He's not answering a lot of the punches. Even though they're not painful punches, it's you can't get punched too many times to the head.
And there is that visual element. It says to the crowd that you're taking a lot of damage. It says to the referee that you're taking a lot of damage.
not too many marks on Paul's face. I mean, Dallas is hitting him, but it's not too hard.
They had to take a lot of that on the back of the head, using his traps, his huge frame there. Oh, but you can see running out of energy now, not able to work the ground.
Dallas is too strong with his ground and pound. Paul in a bad position now in the mount. The amateurs, you can't hit to the head. You can see how much of a difference it makes.
I'm sure these guys chomp at the bit to be able to get in a little ground and pound. But I think Paul Cunningham saved by the bell. Dallas Jakobi would have taken a lot out of that round. But this is going to be the decider. Paul Cunningham is going to have to really do something special to get himself back into this bout, I think.
Oh, boxing there by Paul.
And that's the way to do it.
That is too strong.
Dallas Jakobi. I think all of those holes we saw in his previous performance have been filled.
Paul going for an ankle lock or knee off, or missing it. Dallas just pulling out.
But showing a lot of holes in defense now, Paul Cunningham.
Dallas just jumping into his guard, not worried at all.
Yeah, and I think he's proven now that he's got the strength, the core strength, the upper body strength to break those triangle holds, to nullify Paul Cunningham's leg work.
You can see Paul is not putting his feet on his hips. His setups are a little bit slower now, and Dallas jumps in his guard.
Oh, and the corners are going to have to get stuck in here. Paul Cunningham needs a way out.
Dallas using the cage very effectively, pushing Paul up against the cage to stop his mobility, and it's working 100% in his favour.
Paul Cunningham has an incredible record, but it's all falling apart for him here. Showed some great groundwork, but just can't find an answer now for the brute force of Dallas Jakobi.
Paul trying to go for a triangle arm bar, you can see setting up with that hip.
Well, he's going to have to do something.
No, they're not supposed to put it off their by defense, and I think at the moment Dallas just pushing into pounding away.
He's got the higher ground, no doubt.
Paul's going to have to watch himself now. Dallas's punches are getting through.
Oh, now he's got a bit of room to maneuver. The referee calls it. Dallas Jakobi collapses in exhaustion. He gave it his all. Any of his detractors would have been silenced tonight. Paul Cunningham gets, well, a taste of the professional life. And our Fight Force redemption. Paul Dallas Jakobi takes this middleweight professional MMA bout. But what a performance for both young fighters.